Hello, welcome to this edition of the Singing Hub. Today is a fairly short video. We're going to be talking about jaw attention today. I also am hoping to get up some PDFs or pictures that you can look at because it's really helpful when you're talking about the jaw to have some sort of visual idea of what's going on. I can tell you all day, but it's not going to give you a good visual sense unless you can actually see it. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. The second thing I'm going to say is everybody's jaw is different. Everybody's anatomy is slightly different. And as with everything on the Singing Hub, this is really a place just to keep yourself knowledged. At some point, you do need to go work with a voice teacher on this. And in general, I recommend that everybody that is on the Singing Hub, go and get checkups with a voice teacher that you trust and feel like they know what they're doing. Ideally you want to see them like every month, but that varies person to person. And that varies for your financial situation, which is why you're here. But at some point, talk to a voice teacher about your personal anatomy of your jaw, and also they can kind of diagnose issues specific to you due to dialect and due to languages of origin, because all languages and all dialects of English have idiosyncrasies that sit in your jaw, and these are things that you have to kind of figure out and train in certain ways so that they work for you and not against you. So, first things first, I want you all to think back to biology class in high school and think of the skeleton that was at the front of the room, or if you had anatomy physiology. And that skeleton, if you look at the skull and you look at the jaw, the skeleton's jaw did not have any tendons and did not have any muscles holding it up. So the jaw simply falls. I tell people this feels like if you get a shot of Novocaine, if you're getting dental work done, that's what it feels like. You get that like sandpapery tongue feeling. That's what you want. Lazy jaw as much as possible in singing. The jaw, if you look at it, is actually built to go back. And this is the biggest mistake a lot of people make. So, and I know that this was told to me for years. Drop your jaw, drop your jaw, drop your jaw. Well, when you're a little kid, this is what you interpret that as. I'm going to take my chin and I'm going to shove it straight down. And what that actually does is that causes tension. That is not the way that you open your jaw. And it actually, over time, can cause TMJ and damage. And that's what we want to avoid. So if you've been told drop your jaw and you push your chin down, you are not alone. This is a common thing that people are told, and I really encourage people to, instead of change that language from jaw down to jaw back, or jaw back and down. That's fair. If you put your finger on your chin, let your jaw go loose, and push back, your jaw will set into place. If you feel back here by your ear, you'll feel your jaw move backwards. This area of where your jaw is should get very close to your spine. That's normal. I tell people to do this physically. Just don't push too hard, especially if you have TMJ, you can hurt yourself. I have TMJ, so I just know how to work around it because I've lived with it for a long time and I'm a professional singer. So that's one thing that you should know about the jaw. The other thing that's helpful when you're dealing with the jaw, and then I'm going to go into an exercise. So the space in front of the ear, sometimes there is either a hole or a small divot there. You want to get your finger into that divot. There, your jaw opens. It'll just pop. It's like it's a reflex. By the way, if your jaw is released, your tongue will release also, and it will go up and out. That is the reaction you want. You want that to happen. The Italians call that vomiting the sound. Sorry to say, but it is a good visual because We all kind of know what that feels like. Okay, so if you put your fingers in front of your ears, feel that space open, okay? You are keeping the jaw open but closing your lips. This does take some coordination, so helps if I turn on my keyboard. So you get that open. Pretty simple exercise. Do it in the middle of the voice. Go down. You can go up if you want to. It's just not necessary to go super high with it. This is the first thing I do in every voice lesson usually, unless I have something specific I want to work with my student with. But this is the first thing I always start with, because jaw tension, I have found, is usually the root of a problem. If you have an issue with the tongue, it usually roots in the jaw. And the jaw and the tongue, as my teacher says, they do the tango. They hang out together. They like go and have, tacos together on Tuesday. So because of that, the jaw and tongue have this like symbiotic relationship. If the jaw is tight, your tongue's going to be tight. If the tongue is tight, the jaw is going to be tight. If your jaw is extremely tight, I have other things for that, and that's coming later in kind of like alternative things you can do, including gua sha, including massage, and I'll get into that later on the Singing Hub. Today is just the basics of the jaw. Okay, here's the next thing that, and I find this one very hard myself, I will freely admit that, so we're going to just see how this goes. But it is yeah. This is a tough one for me. I have a lot of jaw tension. I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania originally, and we speak up here in that, so that's just how it is. A lot of people find this one hard, and if you want to, you can help your jaw back with a finger. Yeah. Yeah. You'll also be able to tell, depending on the day, if your low notes are harder. That's the case for me today. If your high notes are harder, and it's just self-awareness. Like, don't put judgment on it. It's not about like, I'm terrible today, my low notes are terrible. It's just, that's weird, okay. I guess I gotta sing a lot in my lower range so that I'm more warmed up. That's all that means. And we always want to promote a healthy relationship with our constructive criticism of our voice. As usual, thank you for joining me today on the Singing Hub. And what I strongly encourage you to do is to sign up for the emails. So at the top of the page, there is a specific newsletter just for the newsletter for the Singing Hub. Sign up there, and you will get emails about every week with updates from the Singing Hub. Sometimes I do skip weeks, but usually I try to do every week. I try very hard to do every week. In addition to that, I do have a monthly newsletter, which you can sign up for at my website, www.candideshaughnessy.com, which is the basis of the Singing Hub. And also, if there is something you specifically want me to cover, please send me an email. You can send it directly, like when you get the Singing Hub email, you can literally just hit reply, and it comes back to my inbox. So I really enjoyed this little mini lesson on jaw tension for this week, and I will see you all next week.